Today, inspectors back on the campus of Fort Hays State University in response to additional concerns about the presence of mold in 2 residence halls and the toll it is having on some students' health.
Fact Finder 12 taking a look at this issue after students and parents both reached out to us. Sean Logging visited the campus talking with some of those students impacted and the university about what's being done.
It's not the start to college some students at Fort Hays State University imagined.
2 weeks after moving in that I started feeling super sick.
A lot of coughing and just a lot of head congestion.
I got really fatigued.
Dominic Prea Jr., Dylan Drain, and Olivia Mancino-Hine are freshmen at FHSU.
I went to the hospital and they diagnosed me with lung infection, and I told them about the mold issue that we had in our dorm room, and they said, yeah, that's why.
They and other students say they have noticed mold issues in their room in McMidas Hall and Victor E. Village.
When we first moved in, me and my roommate, we noticed that the vents, the HVAC vents, they were caked in mold, and we instantly put in a work order right when we saw that.
And maintenance staff responded within a day or 2, but they say the issue persisted. Fort Hays ordered an inspection last fall by ISI, an environmental consulting firm.
What they called low to moderate levels of 2 different types of common molds that are best addressed with cleaning.
But students say the report wasn't made readily available. After getting access, Dylan says his former room was among those tested. The results showed it had the highest mold count.
Look for it for ourselves because we were not informed of how high the mold spore count was.
The report says 3 main types of mold were found. 2 of them a concern because they can cause allergic reactions, and the other a very common mold often found outdoors and an allergen. It recommends a school clean the wall units in McMidas, clean dust from the thermal lines near the ceiling, and require students to maintain their rooms, especially when it comes to trash and laundry.
Advising students to fill out work orders if they think there's an issue, if they know or feel they might have a compromised immune system or sensitivities, to get tested by a medical professional.
For next steps, the university says Monday ISI will be back on campus to do follow-up inspections. That will include some of the rooms in these 2 resident halls where students have raised concerns.
Share the results this time, especially for people like me. I didn't know that I had a mold allergy.
The follow-up report is expected to be completed in a few weeks. In Hays, Sean Loking, 12 News.
And now to a developing story at Loyola University. A student says she and her roommate were living with mold in their dorm room. She says their complaints went mostly unanswered until she took matters into her own hands. NBC5's Lexi Suter has their story.
Just a couple weeks into the new school year, and freshman Jocelyn Miranda noticed part of her dorm room's carpet was soaked.
It was squishy.
Damage to a roof drain pipe caused water to seep through her walls. Jocelyn and her roommates say they immediately contacted housing authorities.
I'd reported it to our front office and I'd submitted a work order. They didn't follow up until the next day at about like 7 o'clock at night. So the water was already sitting there for a good amount of time.
That's when housekeeping came to clean the carpet, followed by maintenance a day later, who told her it would be fine. She's got the note to prove it.
Kept expressing our concerns about suspicion of mold growth. And we were told by maintenance a few times like, oh, you guys are good. It's clean water. You guys are fine.
Still concerned, Jocelyn purchased a mold kit that she says confirmed her suspicions to be true. She says their room smelled and they both had respiratory issues. After 5 days, the university temporarily moved them into another building. The university is responding to our request, writing in part, the university is following industrial hygienist standards and protocols for responding to a complaint of mold, including necessary testing and remediation. Loyola is working diligently to address the situation.
I really like Loyola. I love my classes. The campus is very nice. I love it. But just the housing, I feel like they're failing kind of to hear concerns of students.
Later this week, Jocelyn and her roommate plan to move back into their dorm room after nearly 6 weeks. She says the university gave them each a $250 Amazon gift card, but that doesn't come close to covering what they've lost. Lexi Suter, NBC5 News.
Thanks to Lexi.
Students at American University say they're getting sick after a mold problem emerges in dormitories. School officials say they've addressed some of the problems, but just today we caught up with some students who showed us pictures and video of the fungus growing in their rooms.
Students in freshman dorm Let's Hall say they're dealing with mold on ceiling tiles, rugs, and furniture.
Our beds are lofted, so it was above where we're sleeping, and we looked closer and we actually saw like furry black and green mold.
Some say it's making them sick. Julia Whitman had to move dorm rooms to get away from the smell.
Wednesday morning of the week that this happened, I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I was wheezing, so some respiratory problems, and my whole throat was completely it was hard to swallow.
Whitman's room is now cleared of the mold, but she says she was scared when facilities first spotted the fungus.
So they moved this desk into the center of the room, and on the back of here, the whole back of this desk was completely covered in mold.
The school says that it does take these complaints seriously.
This has received very high level of attention at the university.
The university is performing air quality testing in the dorm rooms today, after which they'll determine appropriate actions in the dorms. I'm Katrina Kincaid, District Wire News.
Some students at SDSU have an unwelcome guest in their campus apartments. There is mold in the Meadows apartment complex, and KELOLAND's Sarah McDonald spoke with students and shows you how the university is working to fix it.
Faith Shoemaker and Tacey Delker are roommates living in Meadows. They first noticed mold in their room a few days ago. These pictures show the mold in their shower, under their sink, ceiling tiles, and vent.
And it was kind of late, so we waited until the next morning to contact anyone, and we called housing right away, and we talked to someone in there, and they said they'd get the maintenance to come over and look at it.
Meadows is kind of expensive, so we kind of expected not to live in mold.
School officials say they've inspected all 80 apartments in the two complexes. They found mold inside 15 of them.
Some of those were very easy to take care of, where we had a known source of moisture, a kitchen sink, a bathroom sink, or an air conditioner drip pan. So those have been taken care of right away.
Wormadal says they've installed dehumidifiers in most of the apartments and will soon be adding air purifiers.
We'll be going back in over the next 2 weeks to install those air purifiers, and then we'll check to make sure it had the dehumidifiers done what they're supposed to do.
These students say while it is frustrating, they're glad the university is responding quickly.
I hope that they can kind of look into this and really realize that's kind of a big deal.
In Brookings, Sarah McDonald, KELOLAND News.
Wormadal says they have done testing and it's not black mold, but instead a common household mold. Students were moved out of 3 units. He also adds they will be continuing to inspect the apartments and will also be working on installing a better ventilation system.
Mold in a residence hall has had hundreds of college students living in hotels for almost a month now.
And those Southern Maine Community College students now are getting ready to move back tomorrow.
They were grossed out. They were like, whatever.
A mold discovery inside Spring Point Residence Hall forced more than 300 students out of their dorm last month. Their friends looking forward to their return to the Southern Maine Community College campus this weekend.
They live in a hotel a couple miles away now.
I've been really enjoying the hotel life.
Selena Simmons is an editor for the student paper.
It's such a serious issue that it's something that the students do need to know about.
She says she'll be reporting on the dorm she lives in.
We're just going to try to cover the whole truth of it and all sides of it,
The building is now 100% safe.
Clark Canfield, the school's communications director, says they hired a restoration company which called in crews from throughout the region to tackle the mold problem.
They made us our top priority.
On Friday, caution tape blocked the entrance to the dorm as construction crews worked inside, and no re-entry signs were posted on the front door. In less than 24 hours, students like Selena Simmons will be allowed back in.
I like the hotel, I like the space we have, but I think it would be a lot easier when I wake up 5 minutes before class starts and I don't have to drive 20 minutes to get to class.
So school officials say a problem with the dorm's HVAC system and the high heat and humidity in August caused that mold on the ceiling tiles, and it spread very quickly. SMCC also has another residence hall located on its Mid-Coast campus.
New tonight at 10, several students at Fort Hays State University say they have mold issues in their dorm rooms. The dorm in question, McMinus Hall. Some students say they have missed classes and are sick with symptoms of mold exposure, including respiratory problems.
They say they found mold on pipes and the air conditioner in their rooms.
I actually had to go to the doctor multiple times. They couldn't figure out why I was having these fevers. Suddenly they were like, is there anything like in your room, mold, anything like that? And I was like, actually, yeah.
The university sent KSN a statement saying they have hired an environmental firm to study air quality in at least 20 of the dorm rooms. That study found a mild to moderate level of mold present. The university is still working with the environmental team to see what is the best action to take.